Welcome to School Matters. I'm Shawn Gilliland. And this week's show will celebrate Dr. Seuss Day around the county, get a taste of something sweet from our family and consumer science classes, and go inside an after-school art project. First up, we'll stop by the Center for the Arts at Henrico High School for a day of priceless learning from local professional artists.
And Rhonda, Rhonda.
You're always going to be auditioning. Don't give away your story so soon.
Your character has a goal. Their character has a goal.
I wondered if maybe we raise our voice a little bit.
Yes, be bold!
Is it working for you? You getting a different shade?
We hosted our third annual CFA Symposium Day, and that is a day where the musical theater students and the theater students are pulled from their academic classes to attend a day-long series of workshops, master classes, taught by guest artists in the greater Richmond community, theater professionals, dancers, choreographers, film experts. We bring them in so that the students get the chance to work with these kind of people, and it complements their normal curriculum with the CFA program.
So you want to go over the wording with the black.
I went to prop building.
But you're going to do that outside.
That's Michael Jones, and he does most of our set building and set design, sound design. He's very good with making just like the overall like stage come to life. And we made gravestones, which is for our new school musical, which I am in, and it's Addams Family. We made like really funny ones. Like there were some that said like, "Rest in peace, Peter, picked too many peppers." So like it's basically silly little quips about like fairy tale characters and stuff like that, because it wasn't like real, so we were just making up stuff, and it's really funny.
Give each word its own sense of weight, and don't be so married to the cadence that we've already sort of ingrained. It's like, to be or not to be, that is the question. You know what I mean? To be or not to be, well, that's the rhythm.
The first class I took was auditioning with Scott Wichman, and he taught us how to go into an audition and stay calm, but present yourself well, and take a breath, and then present your monologue, and don't do a whole lot of hand movements. Sometimes it's just nice to just stand there and stare at a certain point.
Find your boyfriend's face, you can see it wherever it is in there, and then just tell him the first, whatever that first section is about the dream.
I mean, I've been going on college auditions and stuff, and I had one literally the day after my workshop with him, and he brought up all kinds of things that I hadn't thought about in a while, because I'd been working with the same piece for about 9 months, 10 months.
What happens is sometimes we memorize it, and we memorize the pattern of the language. So if I say the line 1,000 times the same speed, the line reading becomes a fixed thing.
He was a really, really great sounding board, and he was a completely new set of ears and eyes who had all these helpful hints and tips for how to make it good and make it better.
Give her a round of applause for that. Those adjustments, outstanding.
That focus is never broken. Their eyes never dart away, and it intensifies.
My first workshop was with Anderson and Sam. They were the film guys.
Again, in front of the camera, you can't do that, right? Because the camera's up close. Anything you do is going to be magnified 100-fold. So
We did monologues on camera, because a monologue on a camera is very different than a monologue on the stage.
Didn't move out of frame. My face, I didn't bobblehead, which I always do when I'm on stage. The whole, that thing, my eyebrows didn't bounce around. There's much more here. My voice is much more conversational. I'm just talking to you right there.
This symposium, it incorporated a lot of film technique and how you can tie that in with your theater technique. So it was very fun. That workshop was very informative.
Whatever you're feeling inside, anxious? Just don't say words, but just noises, okay?
And then I did relaxation with Eva DeVirgilis, which was awesome.
Beforehand, I was like, what? This is crazy. Sit in a chair, sit still, and just relax. Like, I'm a tense person, always.
To sit like this in your body, in your skin, and to simply be present.
I actually did it, and I felt less stressed, and I was breathing correctly, and I was able to really be happy in that moment.
You cannot make people feel something unless you take action.
She would give us a line with 2 parts, and she would assign different objectives to it. So the line would stay the same, but you would either have to use those words to
make her laugh or make her cry or convince her.
Scare me!
Anything can happen.
I'm not scared!
Just all kinds of different adjectives and verbs you could put on the same words and give them different meaning.
Anything can happen.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to collapse down.
After that, I took Patty DeBeck's dance class.
Here we go. Again.
She's been on several Broadway shows as a dancer, as dance captain for a few shows. And she started us with a Broadway warm-up, how she warms up whenever she's doing a Broadway audition or whenever she's leading a Broadway audition.
6.
There was a moment we had to improv at the very end, and it was really funny to see what other people came up with. We did a lot of very jazzy stuff. It was fun. She was a good time.
Take your nerves and turn it into the story.
Then I did Broadway audition thing, and I actually sang in that one. That also focused on your presence in the room, but also improving on your sound quality and how you just workshopping your song and making it as good as possible for a Broadway audition.
Soft to loud, here we go.
And we learned that it's not just the actual performance that they're focused on, they're also focused on how you walk in the room, how you present yourself, and how that get their attention. And so it's going over more so of your physical presence in the room.
Somebody forced me to care.
Honestly, it's unbelievable, and it sets up a network.
It's nice to remember that you can work in theater in so many positions. There's infinite positions where you are still a working artist. So I try to absorb all of it so I can take it in and take it with me for when I do go to college, when I am paying for tuition.
It's always constantly learning and experimenting and trying new things. I like it way better than anything else.
What a wonderful opportunity for the students in the center. We'll have a longer version with even more behind the scenes of the symposium on hcpstv.org very soon. We'll stay at Henrico High School for art of a different kind during an after-school sculpture class.
The idea of the class was to teach something where middle school students would get an opportunity to work with materials or ideas that they wouldn't normally get inside their middle school art classroom. All the materials I chose were things that you could readily find at the dollar store or hardware store or something like that. So we made a giant inflatable space. As we blew it up, it started to get large and it started to actually hold its own weight. And once it gets to that point, you can cut an opening into it and then the students can get inside. And then that's really where the payoff is, where you can start talking about the idea of space and intangible space versus this created space. And that's where it became like a sculpture, because before it was just an object. The goal there is to broaden their idea of what a sculpture can be, because when I asked them at first to list sculpture materials, all they said was clay.
4.5 feet tall, but it's 14 feet long.
There's a lot of implications, especially thinking with math, and even going into physics. When you cut a slit into a giant inflatable, you have to cut it vertically, because the pressure that it from rising will keep the slit together and none of the air will escape. But if you cut the slit horizontally, its weight will cause it to collapse. The goal of this whole class and the after-school program was for me to give them skills. Not necessarily make something they could take home, but this skill they could apply in the future. If they were doing like a church play, or they needed a backdrop or a big thing for their little brother's birthday party. This is something they could do or bring into their own life, which I think is where our art room or what we do as artists and our teachers sort of transcends my classroom.
A common theme for the after-school art program was using ordinary items to make extraordinary art. I think they accomplished their goal. Stay with us because after the break, we'll celebrate Seuss, science, and more.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.
Students from Adams and Harvey Elementary Schools in the Henrico Heroes Mentoring Program got to take a field trip to the University of Richmond. The mentors and mentees were taken on a guided tour by a Spider senior and even got to meet Webster, the school mascot. Would you like to be a mentor to one of our students? Visit henricoschools.us to find out more or follow Henrico Heroes on Twitter. Now on to a literary hero who dedicated his entire life to making sure reading was engaging and fun for children.
Well, today is Dr. Seuss's birthday, March 2nd. It's also Read Across America Day or Read Across America Week. So we've been just doing some fun stations in the library all throughout the week to kind of celebrate him and get the kids excited about his books and about reading.
This babysitter knows all about cake, said Dad. Don't worry, everything will be fine.
We have book buddies at Jackson Davis. So this is one of our 5th grade classes and our kindergarten classes that are coming together and they're buddied up. So they're doing just some fun stations today with some rhyming words and some puzzles and some math games and scavenger hunt around the library and just some things to get together.
Good job, Austin! Good job.
Dr. Seuss is all about just having fun when reading. He has imaginative characters and crazy settings and rhyming words and things that just get kids excited about reading and having fun while they're doing it. Hopefully doing it at home with their parents or with a friend or a book buddy.
That's awesome!
He's one of a kind. He's really the one who wrote the book on how to be a fun author.
Thank you.
And why is it so many things go to the right? You can think about that until Saturday night.
The Tooth Book by Dr. Seuss. Teeth, they are very much special. They must be very much worthwhile.
Look, see now, I can hop with 4 apples up on top. But see, we are as good as you. Look, now we have 7 too.
I do not like that Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
His palace stood high on the top of the mountain. You'll look up and down streets, look him over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there.
It's spring, cried Alfie. Wake up, Mother, I see a big green butterfly.
But not all the warhogs were having fun. The lipless one looked very sad.
There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins.
And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Remember to look at your pictures for clues, okay?
So what's she gonna do?
Find some food.
She's gonna go find some food, that's right.
They decided to keep their wonderful watchdog. What you think?
Thing 2. The Grinch. Thing 2. Fox and Socks. And the Hat.
But you should not be in a zoo. No, you should not be in a zoo.
What? Oh, she got that.
This is your battery pack. Don't forget to hook it to that to give it the juice.
All right.
Okay, now flip the switch.
I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny.
Look until the moon becomes the sun. Everybody in the club with me a run. If you ready to move, say yeah.
Today is March 2nd. It is Dr. Seuss's birthday, and we are throwing an all-day birthday party for Dr. Seuss here in the library. They have crafts. They will make a Lorax mustache. We have games such as Sneetch's Bowling. We have Go Fish, One Fish, Two Fish fishing game, a ring toss. There'll be face painting. Each kid will walk out looking like the Cat in the Hat. And there are all sorts of other fun activities that they can do. These are the days that elementary librarians live for.
Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. Now it's time for science. Our cameras were at Short Pump Elementary to take a peek at all of the experiments and inventions on display at the annual school-wide science fair.
I built a small seed planter right here that can make an entire row in just simple minutes without you having to get your hands dirty or having to bend over. Take a seed from your convenient carrying spot and drop it straight down and continue your process. And because of the design, you've got a whole row right there in minutes.
Science project, I figured out which drink stains your teeth the most: Coca-Cola, Fanta, coffee, tea, or root beer. This project was really fun to work on. I got these 6 teeth from the dentist, and I chose just to do this project because I thought it would be fun, and I wanted to learn about teeth because I sometimes have Fanta. Yeah! Yay! Yay!
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
There was an Olympic theme to the 5th annual Cupcake Wars, and family and consumer science class teams from high schools around the county were on hand to impress with their delicacies. Verina High School's Team B took the prize for their sweet potato cupcake. Sounds delicious. Congratulations, Verina. Stylists in the cosmetology class at the Academy at Virginia Randolph have been putting their skills to the test on Fridays with clients from the community. Let's take a look.
I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know it was going to be as legit, I guess you could say. We came in and Miss Williams is such a good teacher. She has like a very nice routine, I think, and every day when we come in you kind of know what we're going to do. And it's very steady, and I like it. We do it like a good amount of book work and hands-on work.
This kind of gives them more of a real-world experience as far as customer service skills, learning how to interact with clients, and just building on their skills in general. So I think this is awesome to have clients coming in on Friday to kind of give them that experience so that when they do the work in class, it all connects.
This is only my second visit, and I was very, very impressed. And that's the reason I'm back today. I carry a cushion practically everywhere I go, but I didn't need to use it because when I got in here, I found out this is a real shop with everything. I feel very, very comfortable. I feel very respectful. That's what I look for. At my age, you look for respectable young people, and that's what I have found. Just pull it down.
Oh yeah, looking good and it smells so good.
Then I requested Ashley, I don't like to jump from chair to chair. If I can get with one person, that person and I become friendly and we know each other. All I have to do is get in the chair and she knows what to do.
It makes me feel good. Mr. Casey is a part of a church and he put flyers out and we've had a few customers come in from them. You know, you make a relationship with your customers and when you come in, you know what they want and what, the routine is, and I think that's important to gain that trust.
Come on out if you want to get some services done and we'll take care of them.
I would say to them if they were to come here, they would be very, very pleased, and I believe Ms. Randolph would be very, very pleased with what's going on here.
There's nothing better than hands-on, real-world training, and the teachers at our ACE centers are all about making sure students are well prepared before moving on to the next phase in life. We've already shown you a science fair, now on to a health fair, as the Pocahontas Hawks were doing their best to promote a healthy lifestyle for the community.
Our theme this year is Healthy as a Hawk.
America is one of the, if not close to the #1 obesity in the world. To get our students to come out and the families to come out, we thought this would be a great way, and we had AmFam, we had ACAC, we had Pilates. They all did demonstrations. So the kids got to see a different variety of exercises instead of just what they get in PE class as well. And then we wanted to do more for the community. So our FCCLA teacher, Mrs. Miller, she said, why don't we do wigs for kids? And that was fabulous. And then I spoke to you about donating blood. Rich came out and we were ecstatic because not only did we receive a lot of hair for the cancer patients, but we actually met our goal for the blood drive. So we actually ended up saving, he said, 33 lives that day.
And it's not just about fitness. We also had 2 nurses, NICU nurses. We had Bond Support here. We had Humankind, who is we called it financial fitness. We tried to attack the whole body, mind, and soul.
I just really like helping the school and helping Miss Oz because it's really fun. You can learn about health benefits for the future.
One of the really big pushes that we wanted to present at the health fair was the Project Purple that Godwin does and the opioid epidemic that's going on. Our principal, Kim Sigler, and Lee Dunavant, the principal from Godwin, were able to present to parents and kids what's going on, how they can help change it, and how they can help others change their actions as well.
And you're going to lift this up as high as you can up your thigh, okay?
I think this is a great start. I think this will be our start to, we're always going to be healthy. We just need to continue it. And we're going to take every year to show you how to be healthy at every aspect.
We'll leave you now with words of wisdom from Kanan Townsend, the director at the Moton Museum in Prince Edward County, who spoke to students at Short Pump Middle about America's civil rights revolution and its connection to Farmville. For School Matters, I'm Sean Gilliland.
So we all know Martin Luther King Jr., right? So somebody say something that Martin Luther King Jr. is famous for. Heard a lot of different things. I probably couldn't make out most of it, but I'm sure it was great. But he did a lot, right? How many people know who that gentleman is? Reverend Vernon Johns. Few people. So Vernon Johns was a famous civil rights pastor. He was a pastor at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. That was also the church that Reverend Martin Luther King was a pastor at. In Dexter Avenue, they actually fired Vernon because they thought it was too radical. They thought he was too passionate about civil rights. And because he also liked to sell cabbages out of the back of his truck after church on Sundays. But most of that first thing, right? They fire him and they bring in a young 25-year-old Martin Luther King Jr. And they think, oh, he's new into town. He doesn't owe anybody any money. He's not going to give us any problems. Well, as we all know, and the history books will tell you that they got Martin Luther King Jr., right? And none of what they expected actually happened. But Vernon Johns was huge in the movement, but not a lot of people know about him as much. How many people know about Little Rock, Arkansas? The Little Rock Nine. Before Little Rock, there was Moton, Robert Russo Moton High School. This is a segregated high school for the African American students of Prince Edward County. While right across town, you've got Farmville High School, the segregated high school for the white students. And many of these African American students had to pass by Farmville High School on their way to Moton. So they were constantly being reminded of the ways that the county was, frankly, breaking the law, right? The law was separate but equal. African Americans in Prince Edward didn't have a problem with separate but equal. It was very separate, it was very unequal, right? And they knew this. And they decided they wanted to do something about it. Barbara Johns, a 16-year-old junior at Moton High School, decided enough was enough. The inequality was not, they were not going to take it anymore, right? So she led 480-something of her fellow students out on strike, April 23rd, 1951. They protested for an equal education. Now, April 23rd, 1951, 4 years before Rosa Parks sits down on the bus. In 1951, Martin Luther King Jr. was still in college. And these students are here in Farmville, Virginia, well, they're in Farmville, Virginia, peacefully protesting for an equal education. Powerful. They were standing together, as a unit, going out and pursuing justice for their situation. They knew it couldn't be their teachers or their parents because they had a lot more to lose than them, the students. They knew that as a student, as a collective body, there was almost nothing they couldn't accomplish, right? So they went on protest. And that protest, actually let me go one more forward, led to a court case. Davis versus the County School Board of Prince Edward County. Now everybody here has heard of Brown versus Board of Education, right? Show of hands, who knew that Brown versus, oh, wait a minute, we got some eager beavers in here, right? How many people knew that Brown versus Board of Education was 5 court cases combined into one? Hopefully most, if not all, right? It was 5 court cases combined into one. Topeka, Kansas is the one, of course, everybody knows about. Linda Brown, Topeka, Kansas, is the name of the court cases, right? But in Prince Edward, we end up with 117 total plaintiffs who were part of Brown versus Board of Education, which is about 70% of all the plaintiffs in Brown. So almost 3/4. Every plaintiff in Brown was from Prince Edward County. A lot of history there, but again, like the Vernon Johns, like the Claudette Colvins, people don't know about it as much. But without these students in Prince Edward County, Brown v. Board would not have looked like the way it did.